Well, hello everybody. Danny and Wanda back from Pecan Grove, and yes, we're inside right now. A while ago, the heat index was 112. I told Wanda, I said, I'm going inside. And then all of a sudden, we get a notification that we have some packages at our road. So we went and picked the packages up, and we get here, and one of them is from a tree company, and the other one is from Ms. Lippy and Mr. Buddy. Now, they sent us a package wanting to know how well these packages arrived and what kind of shape they were in when they got here. So I am going to see. I don't even know what it is. I just know it from them. Okay. It is a big collie, a C-A-L-I fig. It's still green, and the top right there still looks pretty good. The leaves have wilted down on them, but that on a fig, that's pretty normal. This one is a old collie fig. Now that one says big collie fig. This one says old collie fig. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull these leaves off because they serve absolutely no purpose at this point. They're just hanging there. The buds are still green, I see, on the ends. So they're still good and green. I can check right quick and see how, because my instructions was to check and see how well they arrived, what shape they were in. Figs are pretty hardy. This is still wet. The roots are all still good and wet. So I feel like they're still, I want to be honest, they show a little stress, on a little veining on the sides, but they still have the green bud at the tip. Everything's still green. This is still wet. So as of right now, I would say it's okay. I need to get it in probably need to get it in some soil and some water. I need to get it potted. But you can tell holding the bag, they're warm because they've probably been in the back of a van or whatever they came in, vehicle, or maybe the postal truck or something. I'm gonna just twist tie this right back so that we don't get any more evaporation from the, looks like a towel of some sort that Mr. Buddy has in there. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't know nothing about a collie fig. I've never even heard of a collie fig. I don't know what that is. This one seems to be, in better shape than this one is. And that is the big collie fig. So, I think they're all right. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think they're okay. Now this one is broken a little bit on the end right here, which I don't think it's going to hurt it. To be honest with you, I'm gonna take that off because it's still got the nodes all up it. I really believe it's going to come out. What I'll do is I'll take them out to the high tunnel and I'll pot them up and put them in the front of the high tunnel with all my other small plants that you see I have right there. You saw what happened to the Indian peach. The Indian peach had been down there for 2 years almost and never had a leaf on it. I put it in the high tunnel in less than a week. It's got new leaves coming out on it. So I feel like if I can get out there this evening and get these potted up and get them in some good potting soil, I think they're going to be just fine. Sometimes these companies amaze me at what they do.
It says fragile plants enclosed.
Yeah, I'm
Need
always,
more plants? No, we don't need no more plants. We got more.
Well, what happened was I do tons of research. Lots of times people ask me, Danny, how do you know what you know? Well, I am a research freak when it comes to researching stuff. And I have ways of getting into things that lots of people may not. And I'm kind of curious. I was watching a episode on a particular company, and they were talking about things that the government had hidden from us. And while I was reading, or actually watching that, they began to talk about things that we didn't know about anymore. And I was kind of curious about it, and we got to a certain point, they began to talk about trees. And they said, now, if you live in this area, then this particular tree used to be very prominent there. And they began to go into all kind of explanations about stuff. And I was like, and when they mentioned a crabapple that gets like 1.5 to 2 inches in diameter, it's a crabapple. It caught my attention because that's what I've been looking for. Now, I don't, this is not it. Let me see.
That's Miss Wanda's.
This is not Ms. Wanda's. Well, hold on, there's 2 trees here. There are no more trees in that.
There should have been 3 trees.
No, maybe so. Okay, let me look right here. Okay, I see 2, and evidently the 3rd tag is down in here.
One of them's little, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, it's pretty evident one of them's little. I'm trying to make sure I don't cut the trees. I'm going to tell y'all what they are here in just a minute. Now, only 2 of these trees are mine. One of them was Ms. Wanda's, because when we got to ordering them, we realized that if we only ordered the 1 tree, we were going to pay more than we would if we ordered 3 trees. And I told her, I said, whoa, don't order just 1. I said, hang on here just a minute. I said, let me continue to look, and if I find, ooh, my knife is sharp. I said, if I happen to find something else I like, then we will order more. There's the other sticker right there. I'm not going to open up any more of it because it's got that jelly-like stuff in it, and I don't want to get that all over inside the house here. The tree that I was looking at was a Dolgo, D-O-L-G-O crabapple. The chilling hours was right for our area, and they originally said they were sold out of a particular height tree. Well, I ordered the small one, and evidently they had the big.
It's got buds and stuff on it. I can see that.
This is the Dolgo crabapple, the big tall one here. So evidently they had the big tree. So that makes me really happy. Now the second one that I looked at and I wanted was the American chestnut, because we all know that the government created a blight, and that blight wiped out the chestnut industry all across the Appalachians. I mean, it just ruined all the chestnuts. And amazingly, the Chinese chestnut came into existence, and I have one of them. And when I saw they sold the American chestnut and that it had been bred to be resistant to the blight, I said, I want one of those. So we still lacked a tree to get the deal. And I told Wanda, I said, Wanda, I don't want any more trees. I got more trees now than I know what to do with. I got trees, I don't even know where I'm gonna put them, you know? I don't even know where I'm gonna put these. But I'm a sucker for trees. And Wanda said, well, let me look. And she come back and she said, what colors do we have in our landscape? And I said, well, we've got the pink crab apples out here in the front. We've got the Chinese dog. There we go again with the Chinese dogwood, because the blight wiped out our dogwoods, our native dogwoods. And I said, it's white with a pinkish heart, I believe. I said, and then we've got the pear down there that is a flowering pear. It's not a fruit bearing pear. It's a flowering pear. And I said, yeah, and I think it's a pinkish color. I'm not sure 100%. And she said, well, I want more white in the landscape. So she picked a Weaver Select white dogwood. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. It don't look like it's alive, but yes, it's still green. Okay, it's a very puny little stick. So I'm gonna have to put it in a pot
And baby it.
and baby it to get it going. So these come from Tai Nursery. I've never in my life.
It don't say on the box, I don't think.
I've never in my life ordered anything from Tai Nursery. So I can't really tell you anything about them.
They sent a big enough box.
They sent plenty big enough box. Let's see here. It has no name on it nowhere. That surprises me. It does say Tai.
And where are they located?
They were founded in 1878. Wow. They're from Tai, Georgia. I did not know there was a such place as that. Ms. Wanda just looked at and found it there. We're going to see. Now the chestnut arrived with leaves on it. The crabapple is just budding. The dogwood has no leaves on it whatsoever. It's just a stick. So, and they all look, I can't say they're bare root because I didn't want to open them up because they got all that jelly stuff with sawdust in them and I don't want it falling all over the floor here in the house. But they look like they got a good bit of roots on them from just what I can see through the bag. They've got a good bit of roots. So what I'm going to do is, I can tell right now my afternoon is pretty much already figured out for me. I've been busy as a bee all day and I decided to come in this heat and it right now says it's 93 outside, so it has cooled off. It was 95 a while ago with a 112 degree heat index. It's now at 93, probably 110. Our high tunnel is set up so that when it gets to be a certain time of the afternoon, the high tunnel immediately goes into a shade and it begins to cool the high tunnel off in the afternoon and allows us to be able to go in there and work. So I'm going to look, if the high tunnel is in the shade, then it means that I'll be able to go out and sit in the shade with my trees to begin to pot them. If not, then I'll come back in and sit right here till that time happens. I would definitely like to say thank you to Mr. Buddy, Ms. Lippy, for the 2 fig trees. I absolutely know nothing about that variety. And that's what I like, a challenge like that, because now I've got to sit down and do some research, and I'm probably going to do it before I even get up and go outside. I'm going to look up those fig trees, and I'm going to find out as much information as I can about them, and where, because trees are like real estate. When you're looking for real estate, it's location, location, location. When you're planting a tree, it's location, location, location. You know, You can put a tree out here in one particular place and it may sit there for 2 or 3 years and do nothing. And you might move that tree 100 foot right over there and plant it, and that thing will take off and flourish like crazy. You know, it's all about location. So before I even put any of these into the ground, I want to know what is the most suitable location for them. I want to know how many chill hours they need, because see, if you figure a tree needs a specific amount of chill hours, and I stick that thing out there where it's in the bare open sun all day, it's not going to get the chill hours. I want it where if it's got to have a certain amount of chill hours, especially if it's a lot of chill hours, then what I want to do is I want to put it where it gets the morning sun and maybe a little bit of midday sun, but then all of a sudden it goes into a shade for the rest of the afternoon for fall time, for the fall time of the year. Now, not the summertime, but the fall through the winter. I can plant it in the wrong place. I might plant it for the summer and it won't work in the fall. So you've got to, those are things that you have to keep into consideration. If the fig tree needs to be more in the heat than it does the cold, then what I'll do is I'll put it where it gets the morning sun, the midday sun, and most of the afternoon sun, but cools off right before the sun goes down for summertime. And that way the fig will last all summer long, and I won't worry about it because most of my trees here are deciduous trees. They shed their leaves in the wintertime, so I'll fix it where in the summertime it gets shaded in the afternoon, but in the wintertime it stays in the sun all day to help make sure it doesn't freeze as bad. And I'll check the chill hours on these others, and we'll put them in the proper locations. In the future, I will tell you all about how Tai's trees do, or you'll watch our videos, you'll be able to see. But once again, Mr. Buddy, Ms. Lippy, thank you for the fig trees. And guys, let's watch this stuff grow.